And they just come out of nowhere, absolutely nowhere.
I can explain to you why.
Oh, please do.
Realise.
Yeah.
You can't. Everyone's going to. Loads of people say that's not true.
But here there are a lot of do.
Wagwan bread bins.
Hello everyone.
So today we're going to be looking at
culture shocks.
We've literally been living in Jamaica for like 2.5 months, haven't we?
So we've now
nearly going on 3.
So we've now been living in Jamaica for 2, almost coming up to not far off 3 months now. There's a lot of things we noticed since being here.
Coming from the UK, you go through life without even realising some things are different compared to other countries. All right, so culture shock number 1 out of 10.
Is there 10?
Yeah, there might be 10. There might be more than 10.
Okay.
Number 1 is that before we came, I researched massively like how much cash was used and like everything else. And everybody knows, obviously, you've got to have cash in Jamaica, but you have to rely on cash.
Yeah.
So much so that like there's a queue at every single cash point at a bank.
They call them ATMs, don't they?
Yeah, well, every single cash machine will have a queue.
Some of the cash points actually run out of cash, don't they?
Yeah, a lot. If you don't have cash, then you're scuppered. You're up a creek without a paddle, basically.
Cash is king.
Cash is certainly king, and I respect that 100%. So
something we're still getting like a bit used to. Like in England, obviously there's
you run out of cash, don't you?
There's card, exactly. Just be mindful of what you're saying. But yes, you find that you do need to have like, you know, a little bit of cash on you, because you can't always use your card in places. Like you want to go to the market, all they accept is cash. There's no cards there. Or in a lot of shops they have £1,000 minimum. So if you spend £1,000, fair enough, you can use your card. But if you're not spending that amount, then you do have to use cash. Yeah. So you do just have to remember, here in Jamaica, you still need cash.
Yeah, massively. Number 2 is that there are dogs absolutely everywhere. But I didn't actually expect to see as many in Jamaica. There are dogs everywhere.
Yeah.
The dogs have their own, you know, like I guess it's in Australia, they have like the dingoes or whatever. Like in England, there's no dogs. If there's a stray dog, then you'd have like...
Yeah, people be called
going
like that. Yeah.
It'd be like a meltdown. It'd be on every Facebook group. Here, there is, don't let this put you off, but there are packs of dogs. Like there might be sometimes like 7 dogs in like they've got their own pack.
I'm not that keen on dogs. I'm really not keen.
Everyone knows what they look like. They're that yellowy, goldeny brown kind of colour.
They are. No, there's different breeds.
Nah, come on,
but you know, I have to say though, like even though there are dogs everywhere, none of them have actually come up to me. None of them have been aggressive.
They're very civilized dogs.
They're like, they just do their own thing, look for food, and like off they go. They don't hassle you. No, and as I say, I'm not keen on dogs. So like when I first come, I was like, oh, there's a dog. There's a dog. They don't pester you at all.
Nah, they do.
And even with the children as well, they don't bother the children. They just go along doing their thing,
nice,
looking
really.
for food, and off they go.
If you're a dog lover, you'll like it. I will just say that you probably wouldn't want me to say this, but you do see a lot of dogs by the side of the road. So if you're from England, right, you are going to see badgers. Okay,
yeah,
which is which is probably like weird for like somebody who's not from the UK, but you see in England there's I see a badger by the side of the road like every single day.
I see a lot of hedgehogs
or deers. You see quite a lot of deers. Over here it's dogs. Okay, so like although it might sound absolutely bizarre and horrible if you're from like UK, just got to think about it like this. It's either like they're replacing the badgers or the deers, because that's what you get in England, and there's a lot. You see a lot of badgers. Anyway, let's not labour the point.
But yeah, there is a fair amount of road.
I'm gonna move on to the next animal, and then we'll leave the animals alone. So the goat culture is a big goat culture shock. So again, I knew that Jamaicans had goats, right? Okay, curry goat, and I knew that it was a big part of the culture, like keeping goats, everything else, like it is in loads of Mediterranean countries. Same thing, Portugal, Spain, any kind of like mountainous countries, they got goats, right? you see goats like walking through petrol stations. There's like urban goats. There's goats like trotting down the high street, isn't there?
You see people walking their goats as well.
I've seen multiple people walking just like a goat by themselves. Like they obviously, you know, it's like man's best friend. Do you know what I mean?
I do like the goats.
One man and his dog. It's like one man and his goat.
They're lovely.
And they obviously always have like kids, like the tiny little. So you see goats with kids, with small baby goats.
They're lovely.
Goats. All right, here's a bizarre one. It's the name, which is number 4. The name of businesses in Jamaica are just quite surprising and shocking to an Englishman. Okay, so there's a business down the road from us called Big Rat Auto. Okay, now
the names are different.
It's a respectable garage, right? Where in the UK, you just wouldn't dream of calling your motor garage servicing Big Rat Auto, and then have like a picture of like a rat. As
you might
like
not even be allowed.
I don't even know if you'd be allowed. It might be illegal.
There's so many rules and regulations.
It's ridiculous in England, but like basically,
here you can call your business what you want.
Big Rat Auto. Absolutely, totally cool. It looks like business is booming. It looks like a high-end garage. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like a decent garage, right? So yeah, Big Rat Auto, shout out, big up. You know what I mean? Also, there's another one, and you get a lot of these. There's where our land is. There's our local bar that I'll probably start frequenting once we move down there from where we are now. Nipples.
Like that one, huh?
Yeah, so I can just be to the missus. I'm just going to pop down Nipples just to hang out with the lads. And obviously, like, there's not as much pool here. So in England, it's like you go down the pub, but you used to go and play pool, darts, have a pint. Not that I was ever that type of fella, really, anyway. But here, obviously, it's like dominoes and whatnot. And but anyway, yeah, Nipples. And there's another one on the way to Santa Cruz as well called
This is your favourite
You
one,
gal for share a man. Or is it her man or a man? Your gal.
I think is it her?
Your gal.
A gal.
Half a share. No, a
gal. A man. A gal for share a man.
A gal. This is a good time for me to talk about this bar. Yeah, a gal half a share a man. And outside, like, obviously, a gal half a share a man is like a painting, really, really beautiful piece of artwork, and it's like a bloke, like, do you know what I mean, like this, and then there's like 2 like scantily clad babes like on him, and he's gallus, and like yeah, like that wouldn't be the name of a bar in the UK, I mean, like, because it's just too outrageous for the clientele. I don't know. I'm not going to break it down and get too deep into it. I just wanted to, but that's just one of many bars that have got just some brilliant names. I am going to do like a little mini series. I'm going to tour some of the bars, and like especially the ones that have like the more outrageous kind of highly engaging. What's that? Adventurous, the highly adventurous names that, like, you read the name on it, and you're like, I'm almost feeling like I'm having a good time just by reading it. Do you know what I mean? And then you add that music from one of them speakers that's blaring out from it, and then you know what I mean. You see a bottle of rum, and you're like, it's hooked you in. I'm not like, I get it. Mish, you coming back?
The next one is Potholes, and this is number 5.
Number 5.
Potholes are everywhere in Jamaica. Everyone talks about potholes.
They love potholes.
And there can be none today, and then you go out the next day and there's a massive crater in the ground. They just come out of nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. I can
explain to you why.
Oh, please
do. So the water rushes, and because usually on like a mountain, it disturbs the rock sand and the small rocks. And then what you're left with is the bigger rocks, like, is less stable, and then the time, like, obviously creating that kind of bounce in, and then the tarmac drops in on that pocket where there's like a pocket underneath the tarmac, so it just drops in, collapses out, and that's your pothole.
There you go. There's just so many.
I've made that up, basically. I've never looked into that, but I'm guessing that's what it is.
You'll have to let us know if that's the right reason.
Let me know how
let him
close.
know if he's wrong.
Yeah. Let me know how close I am to the actual truth. Yeah, literally, like, you can't take your eyes off of but you do get better. That's the thing. When you first start, there's a lot of potholes in England, but this is like it's ratchet, and you do get caught out in England, especially in the puddles and that. You know, like they sit in those puddles. That's where you get caught out. 5 potholes down the whole road. Here, there might be 300 potholes, literally, right?
Yeah. Although they're quicker here at fixing potholes
they seem to have
than they are in England.
They have a no one's like filling these potholes in. In England, the pothole might be there for years.
Yeah.
You might have your potholes in your road might literally be there for like 3 years. Here, they have like a standby crew, like doing the potholes, patching them in, like, especially around like Mandeville, definitely. Anyway, quick one. In England, there's no they have like shopping centres. So what's this, number 7?
This is 6.
6. The plazas.
I love a
plazas
plaza.
Coming off. Yeah, same. Plazas are really good. So in England, you have retail parks. You drive in and there's like a big thing, but the idea of like going down this like one road and it kind of like opens up into like a shopping centre with like shops.
It's really cool.
Yeah, like there is I don't know if they call them like mini malls or strip malls in America or plazas. I don't really know, but that like the whole like thing of like a plaza, they don't exist in England. Basically, do
like
they?
you say, the closest thing I can think of is like a retail park is what we would kind of compare.
And that'd be like an area in a town where you like go in and there's a car park and a whole bunch of shops, and that's like a plaza, but it ain't the same thing.
No, the plazas are definitely better. You get a lot more shops and a lot more variety, and
it's
you can walk from one plaza to the next. You don't even necessarily have to drive, and like there's just so many plazas here, there, and everywhere. It's just cool. It's really good.
Yeah, so plaza's number 6.
Yeah, like a plaza.
All right, here's one which everyone would probably expect. Is the loud music culture and the speakers. So like you'll have speakers outside the shops that are just like a furniture shop this big, and it'll be thumping out music, and then next to the shop there'll be like a corner shop off license and they'll have one as well. We went in May Pen the other day, like outside Juicy Pay, and that there must have been like 6 shops and like
all playing their music.
Just like proper sound clash.
And you got and like it's just all bass, and you just don't know which store it's coming from, and it's just loud.
The music culture, but then that like crosses over into like seeing like cars with like the speakers on the top of the roofs on the rack, or the speakers that are built into the windows coming out, and like people driving around like blaring out like adverts. That doesn't exist in the UK.
That's it.
Or just listening to music that loud.
If you listen to your music that loud, it's in your car, it's like frowned upon. If you're driving around, people will be like,
call the police.
Loud. It's frowned upon.
They call the police probably, but like some people aren't even driving around as their job as an advertisement. They're literally just driving around like just thumping out the loudest music, and they set up their whole car, haven't they? Which is pretty mad.
Kitted out with
which is cool.
Range speakers,
which is really cool. One sec. And also like you'll have like a DJ and like an MC doing like a set in a shop at the front of the shop.
I like that. I do like that.
So
I
it's
think
like
it's
so you walk in and it's like a party, like a DJ, and it's just like you kind of pay attention to him, but you don't. And it's like the shop. Yeah, I know. So do I. It's absolutely wicked. It's brilliant. It's amazing. But I'm just saying you don't have that. Also, like they seem to be setting up like rigs and stages. Like
there's
all the time
happening
in the car parks of like shopping centres and like in the town centre, like they do
at churches, and like you just see event pop-up tents, like
but like not just like a village fete thing, but like proper like a setup of like an event, like like all the time, everywhere.
There's things going on like everywhere,
there's
like community.
There really
events.
is a lot more life, like
there is
happening.
There really is. You get street vendors. not sure if that's like the proper term you call them, but it's what we call them, setting up like directly outside of a store.
But they have no affiliation to.
Yeah, they're completely separate, but you step outside of a shop and you look to the side of the door,
like the shop's wall, and there's
their street, there's their stall. It's pretty interesting that they're allowed to be so close to the entrance that they're allowed to sell similar goods that the shop might be selling,
maybe
but they're different.
Clear this up. Like, I don't know. Is that just cool? You can just set up, or does the person or persons or multiple people, as it is, like, do they have like an agreement? Is it verbal? Are you just is that just like you're allowed to do it? Because you would never be allowed to do that. One, it's illegal to do that in the UK, which is rubbish. And two, it's like there would be this whole like, you can't do that because this is my shop or whatever. Like, so like when we went into the tax office in downtown Kingston, there was vendors like literally right outside the tax office, like almost up to the door, and they had one of them speakers as well, like next to like the government tax office building, and like it was just like, cool, no, it doesn't really matter, that's outside the building, that's happening there, but that you'd never see that in the UK, would you?
Or you'll come out of a supermarket, and obviously in the supermarket they're selling their fruits, they're selling their veg in the supermarket, and plus other things. And then you'll come out of the supermarket and you'll look to the side, and then there's someone completely independent selling their fruit and veg, which is exactly the same as what they're selling in the supermarket, probably cheaper, but exactly the same. And it's just like, okay, this is happening here, they're selling in there, but they're two different spaces. It's different.
It's fine.
It's just different.
It's not what we're used to. All right, so we came in the beginning of February, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Mid-Feb. And we got here, and it basically was all right weather for a little while.
Yeah.
And then it just rained every single day, non-stop, for like over a month.
Yes.
And
every afternoon. Sometimes it was all day, but a lot of the time it
seems to have stopped now. But like one thing was that obviously it's a tropical country. It's very hot. It's very wet. Okay, so kind of like assumed without even thinking about it, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But there is actually a lot of rain. It rains like a lot in Jamaica. Like,
it rains a fair amount. I guess it probably varies in terms of how much, depending on where you are. But where we are, it does rain a fair. Well, it has. I was thinking
it's raining more than England, where we are. Like,
it did seem that way through the month of like.
It was April, wasn't it?
Yeah, more April.
Yeah,
it rained.
It was the wettest April they've ever had.
Yeah, but we can see why. It was one thunderstorm that we saw, and lightning storm, and
it struck at the front of the house.
It was so scary. It was.
I find it scary.
All right, you didn't, but for me, it was really loud, and the lightning was really intense. I've personally seen nothing like it. Like, normally I'm not scared of thunder and lightning, but yeah, that was intense.
Definitely struck just behind and like cracked.
Yeah, you could hear
the lightning actually crack where it struck. It was like Number 10 is everybody's aware of the resorts and how premium and high-end Jamaica can be. The image they show on like TV is like you have this super high-end, luxurious, like mega glamour life, and like everything's like wonderful and beautiful. Or if you're in the UK, they show it as if it's a war zone. Okay, so we knew that isn't true. Okay, but what they're missing out is the fact that there is like quite a big middle class, right?
Yeah,
isn't there?
Absolutely.
And you see mansions, and I mean like what we would consider in England to be like a mansion, and they are absolutely everywhere. I know everyone's going to, loads of people say that's not true,
But here there are a lot of big houses. There are a lot of mansions.
Compared to what you see in the UK, you'd be happy to own like a 2 up, 2 down, where the room is like just big enough to get a bed and you can walk. Like, and then you come to like Jamaica. It's like when you go to the States and you see how much room they have and how big the yards are and the size of that, the square footage. It's not like that. Like, we're living in rabbit hutches in the UK, aren't you?
That's how it feels.
And then you come here and the houses are just like so much bigger.
Space. There is actually space.
That honestly is a culture shock.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on a second. There's no every single house is a detached house.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
There's no such thing as like a terrace. You know what I mean? Like, you see tower blocks and apartment buildings and stuff, but like the vast majority of people live in like houses, right? And every single one basically is a detached house. Yeah. And every single one like has a minimum bedroom of like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6.
Yeah. There's multiple bedrooms.
And the other thing is you don't really get in England. It seems to be like a norm for houses to be 3 stories in Jamaica. Like people build these houses that are like massive, and then they're all 3-story buildings, aren't they?
Yeah, you see a lot of
with balconies,
2 stories, 3 stories.
3 stories, man.
Yeah.
There's so many 3-story buildings over here. It's crazy.
In England, that's not really. It's not a thing.
Just coming from England, where we're taught that like even if you have like a 3-bed or a 4-bed, it's like massive. But the 3 beds and 4 beds here are tiny compared to what like they are in. Sorry,
they're tiny in England.
Tiny in England compared to what they are in Jamaica. Also, there's a lot more of like the premium or high-end areas and plazas and shops that you will see on TV as well, right? Like there's a lot, especially if you go to like the north side, like obviously where the tourism is. Yeah. But there is everywhere, and obviously Jamaica's developing like at a rapid rate. But there's a lot more premium side of life than you would see outside of the resorts than you would see on TV. Also, the amount of nice cars there are, like there's a lot of like clapped out bangers, right? Okay,
but there are equally a lot of nice cars as well.
Everyone's driving around in like a high-end Toyota Hilux or like BMWs or like
very nice.
There are loads of Japanese cars and stuff. So like there's a lot of nice vehicles in Jamaica. Right. All right. This is the last thing, and this is like a bit of a Brucey bonus. If you know what that means, shout out. Put it in the comments. Number 11. Even though I probably didn't even say there was going to be 10. But
I think we lost track of the numbers along the way.
So the amount of roadblocks by police roadblocks.
How many times do you think you've been stopped?
The other day I got.
Let's say it's 3 months we've been here.
I got pulled over twice in the same day, didn't I? Completely different roadblock in a completely different town. One was in Williamsfield. Was it Williams? Yeah, it was Williamsfield, and then the other one was in May Pen. But then I've been pulled over in Kingston, like at a roadblock.
Santa Cruz
by the female police officer.
Where else? Can't even remember where else.
Oh, one coming by Pepper. Yeah. As you go up towards Gutters. Yeah. So I've been here for pushing 3 months. Yeah. And I've been pulled over. I'm pretty sure I've been pulled over by the police 6 times. So actually pulled over, stopped.
You got told to get out of the car.
I've been asked to get out a couple of times.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they've been
pull over and actually stop you and question you and sit you there for 5-10 minutes or whatever, and then you go. So I used to get pulled over a lot as a young man in my car when I was driving around in a Ford Fiesta.
I've never been pulled over, by the way, guys. Never been pulled over.
Okay, but I have. and I've been pulled over 6 times since I've been here. 6. Yeah,
there are a lot of police. I don't know. You don't call them stop and searches, do you? But there are a lot of police.
With the guns, with the machine guns, and the guns and stuff.
Absolutely.
So obviously, if you're there are militarised gun police in England, right? But they tend to be in London and around airports. But you do see them. It's not like, oh my god, that policeman's got a gun. It's kind of different, obviously, but you don't see that level of police in the street, or on the road in the UK. Well, in Jamaica, they're incredibly they're incredibly visible. Yes, they're active. They're out there, and they're actively stopping with roadblocks, which is I don't know, is cool. Is it good?
It's interesting to see, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, so I don't even know they picked me out. For whatever reason, they think I'm dodgy. It's a car again.
A car.
You can probably hear it coming down the road. Oh, this can't be right.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they're always a bit confused because they're not sure if I'm on holiday, and then they see the car.
They all assume he's on holiday.
No, but then they see the car and they think this isn't a rental. Like no one's renting. Like.
Yeah, surely.
And then they obviously see you. Like the other day, he was like, "So who's that in there in the back?" He was like puzzled. He thought like kidnapped you or something. And I was like, "That's my wife." And he's like, "Oh."
The kids were there as well. They've been in the car every time.
Yeah. Anyway, so like that's, I don't know. Is that normal? Do you get pulled over like twice a month, twice in the same day?
You'll have to let us know.
Yeah, let us know because true story. I've been pulled over. I'm fully expect to get pulled over again by the end of the week.
Give it another week. Exactly.
Week, I'll be pulled over again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So and the car. Give it another week and the car will have broken down again as well. It's already making noises. I swear, I'm not just saying.
Yeah, it was rattling.
I'm not trying to
fix.
I'm not trying to garner any sympathy. I promise you, but it's gonna go again. I know it is.
Oh well, we just got nothing we could do.
Anyway, if you got any other culture shocks that you feel that we've missed out, or that you have noticed about Jamaica, moving from a different country, or maybe you're a returnee and you left and you come back and things are different, and the culture there's been that clash or juxtaposition, or just something that's unusual that's knocked you out of your daily just like autopilot, because that's what it does, doesn't it? Which is all good, it's fun, and it's all an adjustment and an adventure. So yeah, if you got any other things you want to tell us about, that'd be absolutely brilliant. So ciao.
Like, comment and subscribe, and also share the video. Ciao.
Cringe.